We very determined that soul will live a normal life and associate with the normal children, and we stood by that decision. All thought its cost us many had a debt, debt with school office. When he was high school, he tried to electrical hiring hearing aid, but it was of value, no value. And to do, we believe to condition that we was disclosed when the child was six, six by Dr. Gordon Dr. J. Gordon Wilson of Chicago when he operated on the side of the boy's head and discovered that there was no sign of natural hearing equipment. During his last week in college, 18 years after the operation, sometime happened which marked in the most important turning point of its life. Thought what seemed to become merry chance, he come into possession of another electrical hearing device, which one he sent to him on trial. He was slow about testing it, but due to disappointment with the similar device, finally he picked the instrument up and more less clearless, clearly placing it on the head hook of the battery and low, as if you by a stroke of magic. His lifelong desire for normal hearing became a reality for the first time in his life. He had practically as we any person with normal hearing good movies in mysterious way. He wandered to very from overjoyed because of the changed world which had been brought to him towards his hearing device. He rushed to the telephone, called his mother, and your her voice is perfectly. The next day, he planned at the voice of professor in class. The first time in his life. Previously, he could hear them only when they shouted at the short range. He had to the radio. He had to talking picture for the first time in his life. He could converse freely when the other people, without necessity of their having to speak loud. Truly, he had to become into profession position position of the changed world. We had to refuse to accept nature error and by the pro- persistency desire. We had to include nature to correct the error. Thought the through the only practical menu available. Desire had to commanded to pay dividend, but the victory was not completed. The boy still had not found the definite and practical way to convert his handicap into equivalent asset. Hardly realized the signification of the had already been accomplice, accomplice, but the intoxicated, intoxicated with the joy of his newly discovered world of sound. He wrote the letter to manufacturer of the hearing aid, enthusiastically, enthusiastically discovering his experience of sometime his letter, sometime fair, which one not the written on the line, but back of them, caused the company of invite him. No New York. When we arrived, he was escort escort through the factory and while the talking with the chief engineer, telling him about the changes world. A hunch an idea and inspiration, call it what wish, placed into his mind. It was the impulse. It was this influence of the thought which convert into applicant applicant into the asset destined to pay dividend in but in both money and happiness to thousand for all time to come. The sum of substance of the impulse, impulse of the thought was this it acquired to him that he might be help to millions of defense people who go to thought life without the benefit of hearing device. If he could find the way, tell them the story his changed world, then there is reached a decision to devote the remainder of his life to rendering useful service to head of hearing. For an entire month he carried on the interest in safe researching during which they analyzed the entire market system, manufacturing of the hearing device and created way and means of communicating with the hard of hearing all over the world for the purpose of sharing with them his newly discovered the changed world. When it's done to put in writing to your plan based on upon its finding when the presented to present the plan to company. Each was instantly given a position for the purpose of carrying out his ambition. Little did dream when he went to work that he was destined to burning hope and practical relief of relief to thousands of different people who, without help, would have been demo forever to repeat justice. Mistake. Shortly after to become associated with the manufacturer his hearing aid. He invited me to attend the class counted by his company for the purpose of teaching deep mutes of hearing and to speak. I had never heard of such form of the education. Therefore, I visit the class spectacle, but hopefully that maybe time would be not entirely wasted. Here I was demonstration which the give a greatly en- enlarged vision of what I had done to assure and keep alive in my son mind the desire of normal hearing. I was deeply mute actually, bring thought of hearing and special thought application of the self same principle. I had used more than 20 years previously in saving my son for the deep mustim. Thus thought his strange turn of the well of faith. My son Belair and I have been too distant to aid in correcting depth. Mustim or thus age wet unborn because we are the only living human being as the pure as I know who have established definite the fact of that defeat most teams can be corrected to the extent of the restoring to normal life those who suffer with this application applicants applicants in has it has been done for one it will be done for other. There is no doubt in my mind that Belir Bilor Bolor would be would would have been to defeat mute all his life. It, if his mother I had to not manage to shape his mind as we did if the if his mother and I had to not manage to shape his mind as we did. The doctor who attended his birth told us confidently the child might never hear or speak. A few weeks ago, Dr. Irving Oborets, a noted specialist on the such of case, examined Belleroberry through thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly. We watched the stunned when he learned how will my son knew here and speaks and said his examine examine examination examination indicated that theoretic, theoretically the boy should not be able to hear at the all, but the lead does hear to dis, dis, disappoint dis, despite the fact that X-ray picture no so there is no opening in the circle. School, cool, cool, call, call. What what's our problem? The very your air to should be tool the brain. When I pla- when I planted his mind the desire here to talk and live as a normal person, there went with that implies some strange influence, which caused nature to become the brigade builder and the span the globe of silence between his brain and the outer world by some means which the keenest medical specialists have not been to able in inter- interpret. It will be sacrilege for me to even the conjurated as to how nature vary from this miracle. It will be unforgivable, unforgivable if you neglected neglected to tell the world as much as I know of the humble part. I assume in the strange experience, it is my duty and privilege to say I believe not without reason that nothing is impossible. Say I believe and without not reason that nothing is impossible. To the person who backed desire with during the faith, barely a burning desire has the devious way to transmit itself into eight physical equipment bol- bolero bolero desire normally hearing to now is it eight. He was born the desire handicap which might easily have to send one with less depend desire to the street without a bundle of pencil and thin cough. That handicap now promise to serve the as the medium by which he will render useful service to many millions of hard of hearing. Also to give him useful employment of adequate financial compo- composition compensation of the remainder of life. The white lies little white lies I planned his in him mind when he was child by lending him to believe his applicants applicants would be would become a great asset which the lending him to believe asset which he could not capitalize has justified itself. Merely there is nothing right or wrong with belief plus burning desire cannot make the real. Their quality are the free to everyone. Ah, accepted. Can I finish? In all in all my experience in dealing with men and women who had to personal problem, I never handled single case which more definitely demonstrate the power of desire. Authors sometimes make the mistake of writing subject of which they have to but specialize or very elementary knowledge. It has been my good fortune to have had had have had the privilege of testing the soundest of power of desire through the applicants CA appli, application applicants affiliate, applicants of my own son of my appliance on my son perhaps perhaps it will be providential the experience come as did for the surely no one the better fairy for them. Then he serve, serve an example of what happens when the desire is put to the test. If Mother Nature bend the well of desire, I logically that merry man can defeat burning desire. Strange and impon- imponderable is the power of human mind. We do not understand the method by which use every criticism, criticism, circumstance, circumstance. Mm, We do not understand the method which usually every stance, circumstance, every individual, every physical thing within the reach of a reach as a man of transmit desire into the physical counterpart counterpart of brave of science will be uncover the secret. I plan I plan in my I plan in my son mind to the desire here to speak any normal person here speak that desire has now become a reality. I plan in the mind the desire to convert his greatest and came into the his greatest assist. That desire being realized the models of opening by which the outstanding result has been achieved into the heart to discover. I consistent of their very definite effect. First I mix the path with the desire for normal hearing, which I passed on my son. Second, I communicated my desire to him in every conceivable, conceivable, every conceivable way to available through the persistence of continuous effort over the period of year. That he believed that he believed me as this chapter was being completed. News of the death of man Subham Hekin. One sort of paragraph news did give the clue to unusually unusual unusual usual unusual human abundance success at the single quote the paragraph because the clue of content none other than desire early in year to carry carry man carry me Shubham Hekin visit the doctor the Benny Cout opera to have him test her voice, but he did not test. After talking one look at the evacuate acquired and the poorly dressed girl, he exclaimed none too grandly, with the such of pace and with no professionality at all. How can we ever expect to success of opera? My good child keep of the idea. Buy a some sewing machine and go to work. You can never be singer. Never is the long time. The director to Bina Count Bina Count Opera knew much about the technique of singing. He knew little about the power, power of desire. When he had assumed the propotence, propotence of an obsession, 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 if he now more the power of more that power, he would not have he would साला समझना he would he would not have made the mistake of condemning 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 of genius con, con, condemning genius without give any opportunity. Several years ago, one of the business associates become ill. He become rose as time went on. As of time went on, and finally was taken to his hospital for the operation. Just before he was wheeled into the operation room, I took as took a look at him. I wondered to how anyone as thin and emaciated a E-clad possibly go through a major opportunity successful. The doctor warned me that there was little life, if any chance of mine ever seeing him alive again, but that was the doctor's opinion. It was not to opening of the patent just before he was wheeled away. He whispered feebly, "Do not be distribute cheap. I will be out of here in a few days." The, the attending nurse looking at me with the party, but he pretend did come through, through did come through the safely. After I will be I after it was all over, his physic- physician said nothing but his own desire to life saved him. He never would have to pulled through if you had not refused to accept the possi- possible of the depth, death. I believe in the power of desire backed by faith because I have seen this power left men for low beginning to place of power and wealth. I have seen it rob the grave of its victims. I have seen Saber serve as the medium by which men stage to come back after having been defeated in a hundred different ways. I have seen it provide my own son with a normal, happy to success, normal, happy, successful life, despite nature having to send him into the world without ear. How can one here harness? How can one harness and us the power of desire? This has been answered through his answered through this and the subsequent 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 chapter of the book. This message is going out the world at the end, the longest and fear of the most devastating depression America has known. It the responsible to presume, presume that the message many come the attention of many who have been to wounded by the depression. Those who have lost the future, lost their future of other who have lost their position and the great number who must be recognized their plan and stage a comeback. To all this I wish to convey the thought that achievement no matter what may I what may it nature of its purpose must being the must being at intense burning desire for some time definite thought some strange and powerful principle of mental chemistry which she never developed nature declared 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 the nature warp of an influence of the strong desire that some which recognize no such a word impossible and accept no such a reality as failure. Okay, I can't accept.